Hello everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League's Mazda Touring Cup for race 9 of the final race of the championship, and it will be a championship decider as well. And today we're at the Dragon Trail Gardens. Let's take a look at the current championship standings after 8 races. Steve F1 leading the way, 5 points ahead of SGP. Demon R in third, I think he's too far away to fight for the title. Tied for fourth between Mandalorian and Mitch. Then we've got Fluffy Planet and Dave the Harp, Twilight, Jason, and then Jimmy and Rich Blues sharing 10th place, and Bunsel Groover, Formula Gary sharing 12th, and then we have SRI just ahead of Conrad and Tyler. Okay, let's take a look at how the drivers are going to line up for the final race of the championship. And Steve F1 takes pole position once again with a 1 minute 40.579 ahead of SGP. So the two championship contenders start side by side. Mandalorian will be on row 2 alongside Demon R, with Mitch alongside Twilight on row 3, while Dave the Harp will pair up with Formula Gary to fill up row 4. On row 5 we've got Fluffy Planet and Groover, and then on row 6 we've got SRI alongside Tyler. Jimmy's going to start on row 7 next to Bunsel, while on row 8 we've got Rich Blues. Okay, good luck everybody, let's head over to the commentary team. And joining me on commentary today is James. James, it's title deciding time.
Well, SGP v Steve F1, who's going to come out on top?
Well, James, one of them is definitely going to come out on top today, unless they end up on the same points. But the race is about to get going, so we'll find out. Maybe I fucked that up completely.
No, you haven't. Here we go. The lights are out, the winner goes. So SGP got a really good start there from P2 on the grid. Can he get up the inside of Steve F1 towards turn 1?
Can you tell that James is in a rush today? We're under pressure to get this done before Vicky comes home. I'll tell you what though, SGP, he's under pressure. Or is he? He was actually telling me he's not under any pressure whatsoever. The pressure is all on Steve F1 today. Is Mandalorian giving Steve F1 a little bit of a nudge, and Demon R getting a little bit sideways as well.
Yeah, they were just making their way over them big sausages, and Mando took a huge chunk out of that one. That's put him under pressure now from Demon I in P4.
That it has, but Mitch is also close behind somewhere. There he is. He's not as close as I thought he was, but SGP is opening the gap out in the background. Fluffy having a look on someone, Tyler. Demon R making the move on Mandalorian. Mandalorian not fighting that one at the moment, and that's probably a wise thing because he's got a decent run on the exit of the corner. But that's what we've seen from this season in these Mazdas, James. The outside wider line tends to be a faster line.
Yeah, I think the main thing with these cars is if you can carry more speed through a corner, you'll tend to go quicker. Oh, and here comes Mitch around the outside of Demon R here.
Yep, that he is. So Mitch on the offensive. Mandalorian getting close to the back of Steve F1 as well. Mitch making the move through the, I call it the turkey turn 8, but it's a bit backwards, so I guess we'd have to call it something else. The turkey.
Reverse turkey.
Oh, that sounds like some right dodgy sexual position. That does. I would have gone for turkey -8. Dave the RP side by side with Mitch, so Mitch coming under pressure now. Mandalorian though, as said, I said he's closing that gap back up to Steve F1, and he is. First lap completed. SGP is in exactly the position he needs to be, but for him to win the championship he needs Steve F1 to finish lower than third, not in third, lower than third. But for Steve F1 all he needs to do is make sure that SGP doesn't outscore him by 5 points, and he'll win the title. Mando, he's off, he's into the barrier.
Yeah, that were just taking a bit too much speed there, but it's all about coming back on safely as he left the car's width there for Mitch. I think he has, and Mitch has got through in front of him.
Yeah, so has Dave. Well, Dave the Arp compromised a little bit through all that, but yeah, Dave the Arp got the run. Twilight has managed to get past as well, complete the move, but so has Formula Gary. So yeah, Mandalorian's little off, which wasn't that little, has ended up costing him big time.
Yeah, definitely. So now we've got Twilight and Gary fighting up against Dave the Arp. Dave the Arp's had to really chop them off because Gary, I think, were heading into a gap that didn't exist there.
Yeah, I just seen somebody going very heavily into the barrier, the hairpin there. Couldn't see exactly who it was. It looked like a dark car there, so it might have been Jimmy as Gary coming under pressure from Twilight. Twilight, he's been having some decent races recently. Oh, Gary, where's he going? Oh. He's off to see the medics.
Yeah, definitely. Just got too much gravel there, and SRI's on the inside of the reverse turkey. and Twilight's just about got in front, and SRI, he's got some pace round here. It's just whether he can be consistent every single lap.
Yeah, definitely. Consistency is king. I was going to say key, but that was too obvious. Rich Blue's having a look up the inside of Groover, is he? No, he's having a look up the inside of Bunsell. Bunsell taking a much wider line. It'll give him a decent exit and may be able to actually make the move back on Rich Blues. He's already in position to do so. SGP taking a fully defensive line down the straight as well.
Yeah, so here we go. Rich, Bunsell, can they give each other just enough room? The last thing you want to do in this corner is try and make a last minute overtake, because it's so fast you can easily just find yourself losing control.
Yeah, definitely. 4 into 1's not going to work there either. This chicane is so tricky, and Demonar has closed the gap in on Steve F1. I tell you what, SGP will want to be seeing this at the moment because he needs cars to get ahead of Steve F1. He's not going to want to allow Steve F1 to fuel save, because if Steve F1 can fuel save, he can make a one-stop work perhaps, but if he's put under pressure, he might not be able to. Rich Blues making the move on his rival SRI into the hairpin. Bunsell going through as well, and I think Groover trying to. No, Groover's spinning around. I think he may have been helped though.
Yeah, I think he might have been tapped there from Gary, but I'm not too sure. I'd have to have another look at that. But yeah, Bunsell managed to make his way through there with a very opportunistic late braking move, and I don't think SRI saw that one coming.
Rich, you don't want to be out there on the curb. He's not the first one to be out there, but he's definitely the next one to get caught by it. It's a tricky little curb, that one, if you get it too wrong.
Yeah, Bunsell there just taking a slightly wrong line there through the reverse turkey, and that's putting under pressure from SRI as Mando's now on the back of Dave the Arp, and that's for P5.
Yeah, so Mando trying to recover after all. Dave the Arp's left the door wide open for him there. I think he's, maybe he's playing the cautious game, thinking just let him go, follow him, save a bit of fuel, who knows. Just to mention as well that there are a few championship battles going on. It's not just about SGP and Steve F1 in this race. There's quite a few drivers tied on points throughout this championship, so it'll be interesting to see how they finish up after this event. Regarding those two up at the front though, was Mandalorian, who was that in the background?
I think it was Twilight, just completely did what Mandalorian did at the end of lap 1. Dave the Arp really avoiding them sausage curves, but you can find a lot of time if you can nail them down the centre of the car. You can find a hell of a lot of time. Demon Arp really close now to Steve F1.
Yeah, that he is. He's an open door. Mandalorian going for a big lunge. I heard he'd been stretching that one in practice, but won't be pulling a groin on that move. But Dave the Arp is right up his jacksie. Mitch has dropped off a bit from Demon R at the moment, but I just want to mention, with SGP and Steve F1, there is the possibility, as Gary gets out of shape in the background, there is the possibility that they could end up on exactly the same points. And if they do, it has already been decided they will take part in a 3-track hot lap challenge. They've already chosen their tracks, but if they don't end up on the same points, it won't matter.
Yeah, so, is that Ray? Yeah, and Gary? Yeah, Ray and Gary now. SRI going for the move up the inside in towards the final corner, which will work as long as you take enough speed in there so that Gary doesn't get to move all the way around the outside, but he's managed to do that. If you go in there a bit tentative and end up on the inside of the corner, you can find yourself really losing out on the exit if you cannot use the full width of the track.
Yeah, definitely. Interestingly, Demon R, I was about to say, he's dropped off a bit from Steve F1, and maybe we're seeing why. He's a little bit erratic there, running wide like we've seen Mandalorian and Twilight do. And I mean, that's the thing with this track, James. I mean, we've not raced here in an event before. It's not the most difficult of circuits, but there are 2 or 3 places around here that are ready to bite you if you get it wrong.
Indeed, yeah. And talking about biting, Mandalorian's closing in on Mitch.
I'm saying nothing.
I think this is more like a chomping going on back here.
It's well, you know what? They've managed to spread themselves out a little bit. They go from being like door to door, heading up to the corner, spread out around the corner, and then clump together again on the straight. I like it.
Don't compliment them too much. At next corner, they'll all go flying off. Mitch there really looking like he's really under pressure, dropping a wheel almost on that gravel. And Davey Arp is closing back in now.
Yeah, that is. Or Mandalorian running a little bit wide through the reverse turkey. Easily done, though. Easily done. To be fair, though, I mean, these three, they can still see the leading three. So, I mean, depending on what happens with strategy here, either one of these three could still get involved in the lead of the race. SGP still leading the way at the moment. There was Mandalorian trying to go for a bit of a tighter line, but will he be able to carry the speed down the straight? As Demon R's into the pits.
So, Mandalorian's following him in.
Yeah, so Demon R and Mandalorian deciding to make those early pit stops. I say, well, yeah, it is early. 8 minutes, that is early. That's, I would suggest, a definite nailed-on two-stop strategy.
I think because they really did fail to put pressure on these top two. I think they've just got to try and... Oh, SCP almost there flipping the car. And that's going to put him under pressure now from Steve F1. But, yeah, I think Demon R and Mando, they both decided, right, we haven't really been able to put any pressure on these top two. Let's go for the alternate strategy now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the thing. They can apply pressure by going for the undercut. But it could all depend on what happens regarding the traffic. Steve F1, though, he is right up SGP's rear wing. And this is perfect for Steve F1. If he finishes in this position, like behind SGP, it doesn't matter which positions it's for. If he finishes right behind him like this, he wins the championship.
Yeah, I think the one thing that might be going through Steve F1's mind is if we stay out and that gap from behind decreases, I don't want to get stuck in the traffic, and I don't want SGP to back me up into that traffic.
And talking of traffic, here's Demon R in said traffic. Jimmy just running wide. Twilight. I don't know if he's already pitted, but he's all over the back of Demon R.
I don't think he has. No. Yeah, I think he got caught up in that fight with Bunsell earlier, and that just slowed him down a little bit. But Twilight has been showing a really good pace here today. But yeah, Groover all over the back of Gary into the final corner.
Yeah, that is. So, yeah, so Demon R is there, Twilight right behind him, and then Mandalorian. So the two pitters are now in 8th and 10th as Mitch and Dave the Harm also pit. You know what? That could be a problem. That could be a problem for the likes of Demon R and Mandalorian. I'll get onto that in a moment, but Groover really applying the pressure on Gary. Gary running wide. Yeah,
that were a bit of an odd one. I don't really know, because, like, Gary ran wide of his own accord, and then Groover, really, I think Groover should have gone to the inside line. But yeah, Mandalorian and Demon are now through that traffic. The next guy's up the road for them. The only guy they've got between them and the leaders is Formula Gary, and I don't think that's going to give them enough boost.
I think you're absolutely right there, James. Them going for the undercut is dependent on having the boost for a few laps. But other people have pitted. I nearly knocked over my pizza plate. Other people have pitted, and they've basically ended up one position further back than they were before, but now 20 seconds behind.
Yeah, and we've worked out with less cars in front of you equals the least amount of boost, and they've literally got 3 cars in front of them, so they're going to be getting very, very minimal boost. So in terms of Steve F1, this is looking quite good for him right now. There's not a lot of pressure coming from behind. I think ideally he'd like to be out in the lead, but right now he can just sit there, turn his fuel down, and just follow SGP's wake.
Yeah, and to be fair, the only thing SGP can do is try and win the race and see what else happens. Now, if he wanted, I mean, you sort of hinted at it, if he wanted, he could try backing Steve F1 up into traffic, but at the moment, he'd have to back him up by about 15 seconds.
Yeah, and here we go. Gary has really fallen back into the clutches of Demon R now. And yeah, Demon R's going for the move up the inside. I think Mandalorian's thinking this is too far away from him.
Quite possibly. So Demon R making the move. Gary's keeping a very tight line there. I'm just wondering, you know, whether Mandalorian's not gone for it. I'm surprised by that a little bit.
Yeah, I think he wanted to go for the inside line, expecting Gary to run wide, but he just did not. But yeah, now he's going to have to try it through the chicane. I think Gary got a bit of a wide line there, so he's managed. I think he doesn't want to allow Demon R to just pull away by a few seconds. He wants to keep in touch with Demon R, but he's got to tackle Gary into this hairpin. But we've seen him do the inside line before on Davey Arp.
And we saw Demon R be on the inside line and it not work for him when Mandalorian was on the outside line, and Twilight trying the inside line as well, and it's not worked for him because Gary's got that faster outside line. The interesting thing here though is Twilight and Gary still side by side. Nice.
Lovely driving there. Gary, brilliant driving not to run wide there. Could have been so easily took too much speed in, slid wide and careered into the rear end of Twilight. That was lovely driving.
That it was. Interestingly, I was going to say, I mean, in a way, it'd be kind of crucial now for Demon R and Mandalorian, if they get close, to not fight. SGP, I thought he was going for the pits.
Yeah, I think he well, if he did want to go for the pits, I don't think he'd have made it. I think it was too late to go for the pit lane. I think he'd have hit the pit wall. And I'm pretty sure there's a few guys on the pit wall down there that would not want SGP creaming into them.
No, definitely not. I was gonna say something, but I didn't. I'm a good boy today. Groover heading into the pits. What I would say is, I mean, in a way, I'm not surprised that SGP is doing things. In a way, if there's nobody else there to put pressure on Steve F1, Demon R's run wide again. It's not the first time we've seen him run out there. He's managed to hold on to the position for the moment, but his tyres are going to be dirty. He's going to be out of position here. He's going to lose loads of time now.
Yeah, this is not. Mando though, he really cocked up the second sausage there of that double chicane, and I think that's just allowed Demon R off the leash there.
Yeah, definitely. There was an opportunity for Mandalorian. Maybe just got a little bit too excited. I mean, we've all done that before. Got a little bit too excited. Put a right foot down a little bit too quickly, and it goes a little wrong. Does it get ever so close now? But yeah, as I was mentioning earlier, if these two fight, they're not going to gain at all.
Yeah, I think the one thing though for Mandalorian though, he needs to try and get. He's going up these noise brakes a bit early there. He's trying to get Demon R out of position here, so he can try and sniff a little bit of a move like he did at the previous race. He's looking up the inside but realising too far back there.
Yeah, that he is. Okay, let's see. I mean, SGP, Steve F1 still heading Steve F1 has dropped off. Has Steve F1 got a problem?
I think he's massively fuel saving. I don't think he's got a problem. I think he's just massively fuel saving, wanting to get a one stop out of this.
Well, interestingly, Steve F1 will be able to see what the gap is happening between himself and these two. So he will know that these two are not catching them at all. So no. Yeah, he can afford to fuel save.
Yeah, so Mandalorian, I think the tricky situation for these two guys is they know they're not catching the top guys. So I think they're caught in a bit of a situation of might as well fight.
Aye. Like watching two seals fight over an ice cream.
Yeah, it'll be powerful, but it won't be pretty.
You know what? I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I'm trying to behave today. If I was going to say something that somebody could have taken offensively, but I would have meant it solely about these two on the screen, Mandalorian and Demon R. I'm going to say it anyway. Even fat people have feelings, usually hunger.
Well, we're both fat, so I think we've got a leg to stand on there. Yeah, Demon R back in front of Mando. I'm trying to work that joke out and trying to talk, and it's not working. You might have to repeat it because it's not going in.
Even fat people have feelings, usually hunger. Man!
Mandalorian have a little look up the inside, took a lot of speed there. Demon R.
It was good for the switchback.
Right, through the reverse turkey. These two guys going side by side, but I think Demon R's just going to come out on top here.
Yeah, they're eating up that reverse turkey. SGP heading for the pits. Yes, he is.
Right, so Steve F1 staying out because his strategy is pretty much turn that fuel down into minimal mode. As the Mando and Demon R going side by side, but unfortunately Demon R running onto that dark patch of tarmac, which has pretty much got no grip on it whatsoever.
Yeah, definitely. Interestingly, SGP only had 4% of fuel left, which wouldn't have been enough for another lap, so he's definitely not been doing any fuel saving. He may need to if he wants to get to the end though, because it's a bit early to be stopping for a one stop at the moment, unless you're going to do a bit of fuel saving. So it'll be interesting to see what SGP's going to do. He's come out of the pits just ahead of Dave the Arp.
Yeah, Dave the Arp, I think he needs to try, if he wants to get in on this fight, he needs to get in front of SGP now. but I think SGP is just far enough ahead for Dave the Art not to be able to do anything about it.
Yeah, definitely another look then at Demon R closing in on the back of Mandalorian as they make their way towards the hairpin. Is he going to go for a late move? No, he's not.
Right, that's maybe this fight possibly might be over now, unless Demon R can try and find something around this circuit where I can take a little bit of a bite at the back of Mando.
Well, it's an interesting situation. I mean, if Steve F1 has been massively fuel saving for the last couple of laps, maybe Mandalorian and Demon R actually started to close the gap in, which then would make sense to not fight.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's all about what Steve F1 does now, but yeah, Demon R's thinking maybe he could stretch this stint out a little bit longer, but you really want to be pitting no later than around 15 minutes from the end.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, I mean, if Steve F1, oh my goodness me.
Oh, right, here we go. Good luck.
Well, Fluffy's safe, isn't he?
Yeah, Fluffy. Well, you'd say Fluffy's safe, but if one of these forgets to brake, brake. Yeah, that's what SRI and Gary would say. But yeah, Mitch.
It was a nice move, but he's ran wide. That's going to compromise him. SRI needs to get away from this because Bunsel's following him. Jimmy's there. Is that Groover and Rich? Yes, it is. Okay, good luck.
Yeah. Well done, Mitch. That little bit of touching the grass has cost you 8th place.
Yeah, well, nothing like a sacrifice. You don't want to be going into the middle of that gap.
Yeah, I think this is one of them where I would prefer just thinking, you know what, this is not worth it, I'll pit and wait for these lot to be spread out again.
Mitch tagging the back of Groover into the barrier, there you go. And yeah, it is 8 places Mitch is now lost.
I don't know if Mitch were just taking, if Groover were just taking the normal racing line there, which then spread out and Mitch were like, whoa, I need a bit of space here, and then it just caused mayhem. But yeah.
We've been too complimentary of Mitch recently. I reckon he wiped him out.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I bet you still ain't got that joke, have you?
No.
We'll see if you get it when this finally comes out. And if I'm not arrested. Oh, Rich, he's on that curb again! The nasty curb, and he's collected Bunsel. I think it is. Yes, it is. Collected Bunsel, collected Gary. Here's Steve F1 heading to the pits. How much fuel has he got? 1%.
Yeah, that's. I think he's just run it dry. But I think Steve F1 now, he's dead on for his one stop, and he's going to be coming out miles ahead of these guys that are fighting. I don't know if he's going to come out in front of SGP. I don't think he will.
Jimmy running a little bit wide. I don't think he's going to come out ahead of SGP either. Let's see what's the situation. So Steve F1 is coming out in 7th place. SGP is just going into turn 1 now. I think Steve F1 coming out of the pits just ahead of these guys.
Crucial to get out in front of these guys. If you do a couple of seconds later, that could have been disaster for Steve F1.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so situation now then is that behind Steve F1 there's a mass battle going on. Up ahead though, Mandalorian leading the way, but he's got at least one more pit stop to do. And right behind him, or not right behind him, but just there in 2nd place is Demon R. He's got another stop to do. And then we've got Twilight sitting in 3rd place at the moment. He's doing a great job. And he's definitely got at least one more pit stop to do.
Has Twilight pitted yet?
I don't know.
I think he's stayed out and not pitted at all and just kind of followed behind Demon R.
Maybe. Or did he pit at the same time as Demon R and Mandalorian? I think he may have done.
No, because they came past him like he were as if he was standing still. So I'm thinking Twilight might be also doing a Steve F1 here and fuel saving, but he's done one extra lap compared to Steve F1.
Well, I'm sure we'll find if he's not pitted yet, he'll be pitting this lap. So SGP can see the 3 cars ahead of him then, and those 3 cars ahead of him would definitely, we believe, have got a pit stop to do. Steve F1 can see SGP, and he's still in that safe zone, but he can't allow this lot behind him to get involved, which at Fuji is exactly what happened. The field got involved.
Yeah.
And the thing is as well though, I mean, for all of these, for every driver other than SGP and Steve F1, pretty much every other driver is going to be thinking, okay, if SGP or Steve F1 are near me, do not touch him. The last thing you want to do is be the cause of one of them losing the championship.
Yeah, but don't tell Mando that. He likes touching him. But yeah, here goes Groover up the inside. It's all about making sure that you leave a car's width on the exit, because if there's a car still there, you do not want to be pushing them onto that gravel trap.
Rich making a move as well. I forgot to mention as well, we're 23 minutes into the race. If you are, Rich, he caught the sausages. There's an easy way to know if Twilight pitted already, because he's on spy cam. So anyone that's watching this, we don't get to see spy cam, but if you're watching this, you do. So you'll know whether he's pitted or not.
Right, so yeah, we might be talking complete twaddle, or we might be really, really smart, thinking that Twilight's not pitted yet. If Twilight's not pitted yet, he must have been on lean from the very, very start. I don't think. I'm starting to doubt myself now, but at the same time, Jimmy, I think he's. Where's he gone? Oh, there he is.
He's very close to completely binning. I've got a feeling he must have pitted early on. I've got a feeling he must have done a pit stop. As good as the driver as he is, there's nobody in the field better at saving fuel at the moment than Steve F1.
Right, it's 1 minute 40 per lap. 15 minutes from the end is in 1 minute's time.
Demon R's going for the pits. Okay, this will let us know how much fuel has Twilight got. He's already pitted once. To only have 11.
So SGP's pitted now, but he's going to come out in front of him because he's fully fueled his car previously. So he's going to jump these guys, I think.
Yeah, it looks like we've got... I forgot what they bloody called them little drone. That drone cam following Steve F1 for a moment then. So yeah, that is weird. Okay, people are going to be watching that going, hang on, well, why is SGP pitted? Because he'd got enough fuel, surely. Had he not, he was in the right position. But to be fair, what he's done is actually not a bad move.
Yeah, because now, technically, he doesn't have to fuel save. Yes, he's behind the pack. Yes, he's a mile behind Steve F1. But Steve F1 is going to have to stick that in limp mode to get to the end, and SGP can run at full burn. If he can make his way through the pack, sharpish, and they all pit, which will help him, he could be back on Steve F1 like a rat off the drain pipe.
Not only that, I was going to say they're going to get an undercut. They're not going to get an undercut on Steve F1 as Rich is SGP's next victim. That's the kind of the wrong terminology. SGP is now not that far ahead of Demon R and Mandalorian. So if SGP needs a couple of cars, Rich, he's been caught by that curb again. If SGP needs a couple of cars between himself and Steve F1, he may be able to pull Demon R and Mandalorian into that fight.
Yeah, indeed. So Mandalorian now coming round the final corner, leading the race on lap 15, heading into the pit lane, but I think he'll have been jumped easily by Demon R now. Yeah,
Dave the Art making the move on Fluffy. Both of them running deep, but Fluffy running deeper than deep. He's gone deep.
Yeah, gone deep. That's his new nickname. But yeah, he's right at fuel.
He is. He is. Rich! I think Rich needs new pants. Okay, SGP is on the back of SRI, so this is where we find out whether SRI as an admin is going to help SGP at all in his title fight.
I think he didn't get a memo just like Mandalorian did.
I think you're right. He's definitely not making it easy for him. But look at this. Demon R is now right there. So this is what SGP does need, and Mandalorian is not that far behind. There's Gary, Twilight, Bunsel. Okay, maybe he is a bit further behind. But Twilight's pitted and he's in there.
Well, you were saying this is what SGP does need, but if Demon R gets in front of him, this is what he doesn't need. I think he really just wants to get through the pack and pull away. And he's got through SRI, and Demon R's now having a little look at SRI.
SRI's trying to come back at SGP, and I don't blame him. There's one way to make sure that people don't think you're open one idle driver out, and that's to wipe him out. But I don't see SRI is going to do that. But this is, I've no idea how many pit stops SRI has done. Mandalorian is now in the top 8, by the way. He's right behind Twilight. SRI running wide.
Bunsel's, I think, in the background just wiped Mandalorian out because he's got back into PA, into the reverse turkey, but they're not too far behind. But Steve F1, he's not got much of a gap really to say that SGP's now in third. There he is. it's not got much of a gap. It's probably only about 8 seconds.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, SGP has had a couple more laps with the extra boost compared to what we saw Demon and Mandalorian have earlier on. So, yeah, I mean, SGP can see Steve F1. Demon R is now making gains on SRI. He's looking at sweet cheeks, but where's he going to make his move?
Right, so SRI, I think.
Oh, they're both from wide, both sideways. Oh no!
Demon R. Well, we've just got to make sure. Oh, he's on the grass. So that's going to make him out of control. Heading towards the apex. Oh, Twilight just creams into the side of Demon R along with Gary, and that's helped out one guy, and I think that's Mando.
I think it's helped out 2 guys. I think that may have just helped out Steve F1 as well. But yeah, Mandalorian's still fighting with Bunsell. It's unusual to see Demon R make a mistake like that, but it was a big one. So what can Mandalorian do on Bunsell? Will he be able to use that faster outside lines in the background? Gary trying to make a move. Oh, Bunsell went deep on the way in, but can't. Holds on to it on the way out. I've no idea what that noise was, but hey.
Yeah, well, I think I have a clue. But yeah,
no, you don't.
God, it stinks in here. It shows you that SRI pretty much did an identical move to Demon R, but 1 millimetre more to the right caused Demon R to go absolutely flying, and SRI got away with murder there.
Yeah, that he did. Got Gary and Twilight battling through the reverse turkey. I mean, it was unfortunate for the both of them. They come around a corner absolutely flat out, and there's a car sideways in the middle of the road. Not a lot they could do about that at all. But that could have just cost Twilight big time, because he was he was in a great position, to be fair. Yeah. Well, he were in front of Mandalorian, and Mandalorian's 3 cars in front of him now, I think, and Bunsel's heading for that pit lane. But yeah, Demon R reattaching himself onto the back of Gary now. Yep, just to let you know, as I'm looking at the track map, as Mitch is closing in on Twilight, SGP is closing in on Dave the Arp as Mitch trying to make that move up the inside. Twilight giving him just enough room and no more. I like it. I think Twilight may be able to hold on to this if he's brave on the brakes. No, he's decided to go for a bit of a switchback. Yeah, but Mitch, has he gone a bit deep into the chicane now? Twilight might have to run on him on the exit. Ooh, yeah, I think he has. We need the camera back, but Demon R's already making a move on Gary. But yeah, we need to see if Twilight gets in front there of Mitch, and he has. He has, yeah. Brilliant. You see, at least we know he's on spy cam, James. That's why you see he's on spy cam. You get to see there, folks. Yeah, Steve F1, Dave the Art could be doing Steve F1 a favour here, because he's not really relinquishing this position. Sideways. But that's just going to burn his rear tyres, and if one thing that Dave the Art does not like, it's tyres, and just showing there through that corner, that was just a key area where the rear tyres were just lit up like mad, and they're going to be overheated into a few corners, which might compromise him. Yeah, definitely. Into the final. Is it one corner? Oh, he's gone deep again. A little bit of a lock up there. Yeah, I think it's rear locking. I'm wondering if he's got his brake bias a bit too far rearward, which is causing the rears to lock as he's heading into the pit lane to get rid of them tyres. But now there you can see the gap. It's not much. It's probably about 5 seconds between SGP and Steve F1. And Steve F1 right now, he's sitting pretty. But I think SGP, the only strategy I think he can do from now is get in front of him and slow him down. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, it doesn't matter if SGP finishes in this position or in the position ahead of Steve F1. He needs cars between them, but if you can go and get ahead of him, then you never know what can happen. So we've got Twilight coming under pressure from Groover, and Mitch coming under pressure from Demon R, and SRI running a little bit wide. That's going to allow Gary through as Mitch runs wide as well. Demon R making a move on Mitch, trying to get into the slipstream of Groover, but got a feeling Groover is going to be testing those brakes out into the hairpin. Yeah, I think he's way too far back to have a look at Twilight. Well, he kind of made the move, but I think he made the braking. I think Twilight really should have let him run wide there. By Twilight turning in, it helped Groover brake and get his car slowed down, but
luckily they're Twilight carrying the speed and back in front now.
Yeah, thankfully Mitch sneaking through as well. You know what, I think Groover just got Demon R out of position there and had to get off the throttle, and that allowed Mitch to slice his way through. Oh, but now Demon R taking a lot of curb.
Yeah, really trimming the inside of that turkey's Demon R.
Oh, Steve F1, I don't know why I went, but what can I say, he's a nice boy.
Oh, what a tasty geezer.
Yeah, Philip will like him.
Yeah.
For anyone that don't get offended, anyone, we call Twilight Philip because he's got white hair.
Oh, I thought it were, because he looks a bit like Philip Schofield. But the thing is, though, with that news about Philip Schofield, I were like, why is that news?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, fair play to him, but yeah, it's all anyway.
What?
I mean, if I turn around and went, hello everyone, I'm gay, no one would care. But anyway,
nobody give a shit.
Exactly. Demon R still battling with the Groover as somebody has binned it at turn 1. I think that may have been Jimmy. I could be wrong.
Jimmy? Who's Jimmy?
Jimmy, man.
Jimmy.
I tell you what, though, Dave the Art pitted. Gary's all over the curb, spun it in the background. Dave the Art pitted. He's now behind Demon R as Mitch and Twilight side by side down towards the hairpin. And you know what, James? This race has gone quite quick. We've only got 6 minutes left of this one.
Yeah, it's uncharacteristic. I think Demon R's had a couple of scruffy races, but I'm surprised he's normally able to be fighting up at the front. Do you think slightly his head's dropped, thinking, well, I'm not really in the title battle and won't put as much effort in?
I don't think it'd be not as much effort. The first part, though, you might be right. But you see, the mistake he made where he had the big spin, that doesn't come from not putting the effort in. That comes from pushing too hard. And that's, I think, is pushing too hard and perhaps not practiced enough. So, yeah. But what we got now is a mass battle going on for 4th place.
All I'm thinking is, though, like we've seen like people like Lewis Hamilton, as soon as something's finished and over, they kind of just think, there's no point in really pushing as hard. But maybe like you say, maybe it's just pushing too hard to try and extract too much.
Yeah, it could be. Either that or he's just crap in this car. It could be one of the two. Steve F1 then leading the way is SGP. Oh yeah, he's definitely closing the gap. Look at that.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. That's how you want to take that sausage. Right down the centre of the car so it does not contact any bit of the suspension. And yeah, you just slip straight over that sausage, as Philip Schofield would say.
I see it. Yeah. Demon R's got himself out of shape, and David Arp is on the back of him, Twilight on Mitch. What I was going to say was I was looking at Steve F1's lap times there, brilliantly consistent. SGP was a little bit quicker, about a second quicker on average. There's Twilight making the move into the hairpin.
Has he gone deep?
No.
I think he... Oh, Dave the Art got a tag there. I think that was Bunsell, and that's. I'm going to say it's uncharacteristic of Dave the Art to lose the rear end, but I think I'd say it's very characteristic of Bunsell coming in like a freight train.
Hang on a minute. Is there a hole in the front of Mitch's car?
Let's have a look.
On the front right wing.
Front right?
Yeah, it looks like there's a hole in the front of his car.
He might have just wore it away on the back of Twilight's bumper.
I think we'll have to investigate him for additional cooling.
There is. There's a hole on the right hand side of Mitch's car, just above the wheel arch. Yeah. But SGP really closing that gap now. But could SGP get a little bit? I wasn't going to say dirty, but that's not his style. Do you think he can get in front and slow him down with a few minutes to go?
It's the only way it looks like he's got a chance now. It's what I would do. I would get in front and I'd turn my engine down. I'd park it on every single apex. Yeah. I'd do everything I could. I wouldn't do that. He's shown us how to do it properly. I tell you what, it's a good job they put weight ballast on the passenger side of that car, because if they didn't, it'd have tipped over.
Right. Yeah, Steve F1, I think he's leaving the door wide open here because he's got nothing really. He's going to win the championship either way. Yeah, he's just pretty much gone. There's your invitation, son. Take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I were SGP now, I would get my car completely in front of Steve F1 and just start backing him up, just lifting off that throttle 100 metre before the apex.
Yeah.
And just put pressure on Steve F1. But I think SGP's pulling away.
I think you could be right. I mean, maybe he doesn't want to play that game. Maybe he just thinks, you know what, I'm just gonna get on with it. But I mean,
but at the end of the day, there'd be nothing stopping a driver from doing that if they were, as long as they weren't putting the car, running somebody off the circuit.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, doing it fairly. There's a difference between backing someone up fairly and the laps
being dirty.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe SGP's looking at it and going, well, he needs 2 cars between them, and there's only one that's close at the moment.
Yeah, but it only needs one to get him involved that'll then create a situation where these guys can catch him up. But yeah, I think it may be too late right now. I think SGP needed to get in front and do that strategy a few laps ago. But yeah, Davey Arp and Munsell, no love lost between these two.
That there isn't.
But yeah, I think is this the final lap for these guys? Because they're just heading over the line with 38.20 and it's 44. I think this is their last lap. I think the guys in front will get another lap in, but these guys, this is pretty much their last lap.
I reckon Vicky has just walked in and James has said that, so she knows he'll be done in 2 minutes. I tell you what, Mitch and Twilight, they've been having a brilliant battle. Demonar's all over the curb. He's not on it at all today. Mitch making the move, then going to the inside, and Twilight, let's see, is he going to go for a switchback? Is he going to take the outside line? What is he going to do?
I think Twilight, really, if Mitch looks like as if he's getting his braking pretty much sorted, you try it around the outside. If Mitch looks like he's a little bit erratic and out of control, you do the switchback. That's pretty much my rule of thumb that I've heard that a few drivers use. But then again, if you're anticipating somebody to run wide and they don't, you're pretty much left out in the cold there.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so that gap holding between SGP and Steve F1 at the moment. Mandalorian is actually not that far away from Steve F1, as Mitch is still trying to fend off Twilight here. You know what, if this is going to be the last lap for these guys as well, this could be crucial as they head into the final couple of corners. SGP, the race leader, he's heading up towards the finish. Twilight making the move to the outside. Mitch covering the inside, and the outside line can be so much faster here as long as you get it slowed down initially. It's not in the corner you want to make the move, it's on the exit here where Twilight is now gaining.
Yeah, Demonar, I think he will just get another lap in as Twilight and Mitch are doing a good old Schumacher Barrichello down the straight.
You know what, you're absolutely right. David Harp, will he get... No, David Harp's race is over. So it's finished for 7th down. That means that it's only a fight for the top 6 left to go then. It could be a crucial final lap as Twilight's made the move through turns 1 and 2 on Mitch.
Watch out for Demonar. He will pretty much just want one of these two to run wide, and that's the key. There we go. Twilight's run wide and Demonar just lapping.
Twilight, he's going to be sat there thinking, hang on, is he on a lap or is he finished? I don't know, but he's going to find out in a moment. SGP is heading towards Turkey, reverse Turkey. He's got one more corner to go. He's sped up again. He's opened up the gap to Steve F1. I think he's basically realised there's not a lot else he can do other than go and take the win, and what will be.
Yeah, indeed. So SGP now heading on to that short back straight under the few bridges, and then the double apex final corner, and SGP, I think he'll be quite foaming and reflecting on what happened last week and what could have been really. But Steve F1, I think he's sitting there in second place, but he's going to be loving it. Both of them, it's going to be bittersweet for SGP.
Yeah, that it is. SGP takes the victory then in the garden as Steve F1 takes the championship in the garden. Mandalorian is going to take 3rd place and handbrakes it across the line. No surprise there. Mitch has had an interesting race in 4th place. He's got Demonar closing the gap in on him, but I don't think there's going to be enough tarmac for him, so it is going to be 4th and 5th and 6th for Twilight. And what a race we've had there. I was just thinking then, James, as you were describing it, had SGP have won the race last week and Steve F1 finished 3rd, the points difference would have been very different, and with the result today, SGP may have won the championship.
Yeah, I think he would have. He would have by a couple of points, which just shows you how close this championship has been. Steve F1, I think it. For me, Steve F1, it wasn't pure out and out
pace. No.
But it were more consistency of being in the top 2 nearly every single race.
Yeah, definitely. Steve F1 had said himself that SGP was the faster driver in those cars, but it was strategy and luck and consistency that's kind of got him to that result. And to be fair play to the both of them, because either one of them was more than worthy of taking the championship. But at least we get to say that it's not Demon R this time. All we need now is for Demon R to actually hand over the... Okay, where's Demon R?
He's walked away. He's got in his car and driven off. He's got a white Magnum.
Bloody sore loser. Oh, I don't know. Okay, so yeah, congratulations there to SGP on taking the win there. I mean, to be fair, his pace was phenomenal. In a way,
yeah.
It was unlucky that he didn't get pole position, because his personal best lap times that I had seen were about a second faster than anybody else I was seeing.
Yeah.
And he didn't get it together in qualifying for whatever reason, but that wasn't the important part. The important part was the race, and he did everything he could do on his side. He won the race. He needed others to step up, and unfortunately they weren't able to do that for him today.
I think the key thing for me is Steve F1 has just been the master of the fuel situation which were brought in this season, and he's absolutely took it to the limit and thought, you know what's the point in really fighting like mad when you can fuel save, do a one stop and save 20 seconds. So I think that's the thing. It's not what we were saying. It's not the relentless pace of a driver which has gotten to that championship. It's the using the brain, using the tools that is
disposal.
Yeah, exactly, and just absolutely took them to the limit and just come away with the championship.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not like a one-stop would have worked at every single race, because it didn't on occasion. But yeah, absolutely fabulous from SGP and Steve F1. The new Steve F1 being the new Dynamic GT League champion. I'm almost teary-eyed saying that. I've got to say though, overall it's been a very exciting championship. I think the changes over the last couple of seasons have helped in this championship going progressing forward, and it's definitely been interesting with the fuel. When it comes to the next championship, of which details I'm told are going to be released very, very soon after the release of this video, yeah, the settings and the details of that championship could make things very, very interesting again, because it's a very different car to this one.
Yeah.
Before, I mean, we could sit here and go through every driver there, James, and sometimes I do like doing that, but I think today though, you just have to emphasise the fact that Steve F1 has been phenomenal, and to a degree it's not just this championship. He's improved and improved and improved over the last few, but I'm interested to know, if you were going to pick one driver who has potentially improved the most over the course of this championship, who do you think that may be?
I'd just say it's SGP, because not to say that he's been poor in other seasons, but he's been he has been the driver for me who's had that relentless pace in the car. He's just been able, we've seen other drivers like Demon R and Mando, they've had flashes of being rapidly quick, but the consistency of being rapid, I think SGP's got to take it. Yeah, he's come away with second in the championship, but I don't think he needs to look at this as, just missed out there. I think really he needs to be looking at this going, I've really improved and I can't wait for the next championship, because I'm going to absolutely cane it.
Yeah. Well, I guess we will have to wait and see. We're not going to have to wait too long, because I am told that the first race of the championship is going to be on February 27th, and that's the only information that I'm going to give out regarding that. What I will say is, James, thank you very much for joining me on commentary again in this championship.
Yeah, no problem at all. No problem.
And apologies to anyone that may have got offended. And if you did get the joke at home, folks, feel free to message James and explain it too, because I'm not going to explain it.
I think that's my P45. Thanks. See you later.
Have a good one, everybody. Oh, you know what? I need to. I think it's time to check out the confirmed race result and the championship standings. Here we go then with the confirmed race result for round 9 at Dragon Trail Gardens. SGP taking the victory in a maximum 20 points. Steve F1 finished in his second place, taking 17 points. Mandalorian did well to finish in third and take 15 points, while Mitch was able to fend everybody off to take fourth place. Another brilliant result for him. Demon R down in 5th place, and to recover a couple of times in this race, not great from him at all. Twilight has definitely been one of the highlights of the season, having some very good drives and quite a bit of bad luck, but today was a mixture of the both, definitely. 7th place was Dave the Heart, was unfortunate, may have been on for a much better finishing position, but missed out on that last lap by the tiniest of margins, but he did finish just ahead of Bunsell, who has still been improving over the course of the championship. Rich Blues finishing in 9th. He's been getting very good results as late, finishing in 8th and 9th places, so a brilliant result for Rich Blues, and just ahead of his rival, his main rival in DGT League SRI, and just ahead of his good mate Jimmy. Whether he's going to be his good mate continuously, I don't know after the way he's beaten him here today. But yeah, SRI just ahead of Jimmy, and then Groover just ahead of Fluffy, and you know Groover will wind Fluffy up about that one. Supposedly they're mates, but not when Groover finishes ahead of Fluffy. Formula Gary finished in 14th place, and unfortunately Tyler DNF'd, but Gary's had a difficult championship with a lot of bad luck on occasion throughout the course of these 9 races, but it's all about experience and taking what you've learned from one race to the next and from one championship to the next, which is why we've seen the likes of DGT League SGP and Steve F1 make big gains when it comes to the championship standings. Okay, let's take a look at what that result has done to those standings for the final time in the Mazda Touring Cup. Congratulations then to Steve F1 on taking the Mazda Touring Cup Championship. Big congratulations to him. It was by the smallest of margins, only 2 points ahead of DGT League SGP. Demon R finished in 3rd place on 135 points, and Mandalorian managed to recover well after a difficult start to the championship to finish in 4th place on 87 points. Mitch has definitely been one of the surprises of the season, finishing in 5th place and been battling for 4th place for majority of the races. He's finished on 85 points, and you know what, for a reserve driver, he's definitely grabbed everybody's attention, and I do believe plans are being put into place to see if he can get onto the grid on a slightly more permanent basis. Let's put it this way, he's definitely deserved it. Fluffy Planet has been also fighting for that 4th place for majority of the championship, but at the last race of the season he's ended up having to share 6th place with Dave the Heart, but they're both on 74 points. Fluffy has had a very up and down championship, that's for certain. Dave the Harp has had some magical moments, but he's also been caught up in quite a few incidents that are not of his own doing, which has caused him to lose a number of points. It's been a very difficult championship for Dave, that's for sure. Twilight, he's finished the season in 8th place on 61 points. There's definitely been some tough moments for him, that's for certain, but he has recovered well to get up to 8th place. Jason's finished in 9th, wasn't able to do the last couple of races, and he hasn't been well recently. I hope he's feeling considerably better. This has definitely not been a car that he has been keen on, but hopefully the next one will be. Rich Blues though finishes in 10th place, and you know what, off the top of my head I can't remember exactly what position Rich Blues finished in the championship last season, but I wouldn't be surprised if he has made improvements on where he finished, or if he's finished in 10th last season, I wouldn't be surprised if he's got more points, and this is where I'll find out that he finished in 10th on 47 points. We'll have to wait and see. Jimmy done extremely well to finish in 11th place and on 45 points, only 2 behind Rich Blues. Jimmy's had a very progressive season. He's definitely been doing a lot of learning and trying to keep himself out of trouble, and I think for the most part he's done exactly that, and done very well to recover or at least end each race in the points and bag 45 by the end of the championship. Bunsell finishes in 12th place. Bunsell solid drive as usual, bump drafting where he can, bumping when he can, and scoring 38 points, an improvement for him I'm sure. Groover, difficult championship for him, finishing in 13th place, joint 13th with SRI, both on 34 points. It's been a difficult championship for both of those guys, to be fair, with both drivers having to miss a couple of races here and there. Gary, this has probably been his toughest to take championship probably since the first one he was involved in, finishing down in 15th on 32 points. A tough one for Gary, but sometimes you have to take steps back to be able to take steps forward. Conrad managed to finish ahead of Tyler, but unfortunately with Connor only being able to race half of the races in this championship, it was always going to be difficult for him, and then with connectivity issues and other factors, it's been a very difficult championship for Connor, but he has finished ahead of Tyler, who, after having a brilliant championship in the VWs, he's definitely had a very difficult championship in the Mazda Touring Cup. Well, let's hope both of those guys can have much better championships next time out. And for anyone that has been living in a cave for the last 8 weeks, the information for the next championship is quite simple really. We're going to be using the Group 2 Nissan Zanavi, it is called, but we're going to be calling it the championship. Is going to be called the Zanassin Trophy, as they say in Yorkshire. Zanassin Trophy is what it's going to be called. So Group 2's much quicker cars than the Mazdas. It's going to be interesting to see how everybody gets on with those cars, and I am being told as well there could be some very interesting information regarding their championship being released hopefully within the next day or two of this video going public. Okay, I just want to thank everybody for taking part in this season in the Dynamic GT League's Mazda Touring Cup, and thank you to the admins for putting everything together as per usual. And also, I will thank that other guy who's been coming along and talking during races to keep us not bored. Cheers James for joining us on the commentary, and thank you everyone for tuning in. And if you do want to get involved, as the header said, throughout the race, check out Dynamic GT League on Facebook. Have a great time everybody. We'll be back in a few weeks for Dynamic GT League's Zanassin Trophy. It's going to be fiery, I'm sure of that. Have a good one everybody, and we'll see you all again soon.